today's story, I'll put you in context first so we can figure out where in the Bible. So this is taken from the beginning of the Bible. You guys remember the first book of the Bible?
Genesis.
Genesis.
I finished reading it a few months ago.
Wow, good for you. So you're familiar with this. So this is taking place after the great flood with Noah. Everything had been wiped out. And so that's where we're setting up this story. Now, after God sent the flood, everyone on the earth spoke the same language. Now, it was not even 100 years since the flood, and a new problem had arisen. The people disobeyed God again. Do you remember God's command to Noah and his sons after the flood? He said, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth." To fill the earth meant to spread out over the whole earth. Again, God watched as the people he created chose to live by their own rules instead of obeying him. For they all settled down and they lived together in one place. And they said to each other, "Come, let's build a city for ourselves. We'll make a tower so tall that the top of it can reach heaven." And they used brick and tar, and they began to construct a city and a tall tower. They said, "We'll make a name for ourselves and we'll become famous. Our city and our tower will help us, and they'll keep us from having to be scattered all over the earth." The Lord came down to see the city and the tower, and the Lord said, "Behold, they are one people, and they all speak one language. This is only the beginning. Nothing will stop them. They will be able to do whatever they want." So God decided to put a stop to what was happening. He said, "Come, let us go down and confuse their language, so that when they talk, they won't be able to make sense of what they're saying." Then God went down to the people, and he confused their language, and they weren't able to understand each other. They couldn't work together anymore, and it was impossible for them to build their city now. So the Lord dispersed them over the face of all the earth, and they left off building their city. Therefore, its name was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth. And from there the people spread out as God had intended. Here's a picture of Babel.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. And it's a very old art piece by Peter Bruegel from 1563. So over 400 years ago. But he painted that. It's beautiful. So
That's big.
it is. It is quite the image. So
It feels so small.
to start at the beginning of the story, we were talking about, so this is the tell it back portion, where you guys are going to narrate back to me, and we'll have a volunteer start us off once I get the first line started. So after God sent the flood to the earth, everyone on earth were speaking the same language. You're volunteering your friend. Who remembers what happened there from there?
They decided to build a city.
Thank you. They decided to build a city. Everyone's speaking the same language. They decided to build a city. Who else wants to tag on to that? Yeah?
But God said, go and spread all over the earth and, I don't know, maybe build cities there or something. But instead they just stayed in one spot and built this huge tower.
That's right. So we can see that they weren't listening to God's instructions. That's right. He had told them to spread out. I like how you thought of that, how they would have, you could imagine they could have built cities together all over the place and spread out, but instead they're all together. And then what happened? Yeah?
And then God confused their languages so they could not work together anymore.
That's right. Yeah?
So they started taking the tower down.
How did it happen that this tower wasn't going to be happening anymore? Yeah?
Because God confused their languages so they couldn't understand each other, and then they got angry.
That's right. They couldn't understand each other. Yeah, I imagine I'd feel angry with that. No, it's frustrating, right? To not be able to work together. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you saying?
All right. Did we capture anything? Is there anything else that were any other details in there from the story that you guys remember?
I remember that they built it with tar and something else.
Oh, right.
Brick.
Tar and brick. Right. So the tar is the stuff to the almost like the glue. Right. Great job with the narration. I think you guys did